What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Andrew Holmes has literally lost his career within a year, going from a man that was working with Chicago survivors and other nonprofit organizations. I mean, the man is a legend in the city of Chicago. I talked to someone who says if Andrew Holmes, prior to this, walked around the city of Chicago, he was getting stopped like a superstar. That's how many people know Andrew Holmes, to the point when these allegations were coming out against him, he had so many people in his corner. And that's probably why Andrew Holmes is allowed to still walk in Chicago today, because of his good name and what he's meant to the community. But everybody doesn't like Andrew Holmes, especially gang members. Not only does Andrew Holmes help people recover from losing their own loved ones, Andrew Holmes may also be known in the city of Chicago as a snitch. He also helps solve crimes. He helps make arrests. He wants people to be prosecuted, because that is what he is. He's an activist and he wants justice. And I'll even prove that to you. There's a clip where Andrew Holmes made a citizen's arrest on a person that did a hit and run.
I went behind him, started jogging. He never knew I was jogging. He went 12 blocks. He went past the hospital, 2 blocks past the hospital. So I was still behind him. So once I got a little closer up on him, I identified myself as Andrew Holmes, community activist. He asked me what I want. I asked him, you left the scene of an accident. I got to detain you.
Well, he then called Chicago police, who arrested the man.
And even Andrew Holmes arrested his own brother, who's on drugs, when his brother was stealing packages from Amazon.
New this hour 18, he's helped in solving murders and cold cases. Now this well-known Chicago community activist helps police catch his own brother, accused of a crime hitting so many of us in the city. CBS 2's Stephen Graves talked to him about why he led police to a member of his own family.
Andrew Holmes believes wrong is wrong, even if it means holding a family member accountable.
No, we're close, not bitter. When you got the proof right here, and I'm looking at you, and I'm watching you.
Holmes is referring to this doorbell video he says shows his brother Eric Holmes stealing packages. You see him walk up to and then sit on a porch, later walking away, bag in hand.
These are people's personal properties. They paid for these items to come.
Holmes says Auburn Gresham neighbors recognized his brother. Call after call from other people saying his sibling did the same thing to them.
Now, so yeah, I got to put a stop to him.
And he did.
You know they looking for you. Ooh. Police.
Yeah.
Calling Chicago police detectives to come pick him up last month. Holmes' normal work of helping find murder suspects and consoling grieving families put on pause for his own family business.
Just because you're my brother don't make you right, that you have to commit a crime and you have to get away.
This is far from the first time Eric has had trouble with the law. Accused in July of stealing packages from a USPS mail truck, smashing the side window with a rock. Police say they caught him with a duffel bag full of the stolen items ranging from shirts and jeans to coasters. Holmes says his brother struggles with substance abuse.
Then I was alerted to Brother Jedediah Brown's Facebook page. And the page says this: Andrew Holmes isn't gang affiliated, and the people inside has made it very clear he better never make it behind them walls or come out of solitary confinement. He's been involved with so many cases that he can never serve a debt to society if convicted in Illinois. So let me talk about this, because obviously the brother has been going around. He's been hiding out. He was attacked by some of the members of Dalton at the village board meeting. He didn't respond to any of those things. People were talking about how terrible he looked. Fanaya Dukes made some horrible allegations against Andrew Holmes, and those allegations were not great. But let's suppose Andrew Holmes, for whatever reason, goes down into prison. even though this is a civil case, okay? But let's say, for example, that's the case. Then the question is, damn, Andrew Holmes, you forgot one thing. While you're fighting crime, you can't be committing crime. Now, let me talk about this guy's case, okay? We all know about, he went to Las Vegas, and there was a police officer on Tiffany Henyard's patrol. Allegedly, Andrew Holmes drugs this lady. The lady's drunk or she passes out. Andrew Holmes is dumb enough to tell the police officer, listen, I did X, Y, and Z with the lady. Then let me show you her on the bed, and you can see that she's passed out. Now, if there is proof of that, and Andrew Holmes is lucky enough that this is in Las Vegas, I mean, he still would be assaulted in prison. But let me just say if that story is true. Man, okay, if you will tell a cop that with no remorse, no fear of being afraid of telling a police officer that, unless you thought that cop would never tell. The question is, what has Andrew Holmes been doing all along? Let me give you an example of a story I heard about. I heard a story about a guy who was a fire chief in a small town, and this fire chief would put out these crazy fires from time to time. And he was getting accolades because he would do so and all of that. But one day, we found out that this particular firefighter was arrested. Well, why are they arresting the firefighter? Well, the firefighter was setting the fire. The firefighter or the fire chief would set the fire, go up on top of the hill. He would play with himself to the fire, then climax, then go down and set the fire out. And I don't know if that's Andrew Holmes, but it sounds similar. You see, Andrew Holmes is supposed to be protecting people of violence. But at the same time, he would take some, allegedly, of his girls, the victims, down to these places to check out. He said he would go to shootings with his side chicks. I don't know how true it is, but that's what they say. And the reality is that you're not going to be able to be in the sort of business of fighting crime while doing crime. I don't care how corrupt Chicago is. All somebody got to do is just say yes. And it happens all the time in the black community. I mean, happens in the churches. We've seen what happened with Jamal Harrison Bryant. You know, you're preaching against that kind of stuff. You're doing that kind of stuff. So people quite naturally will be jealous of, you know, the name and the notoriety, and which Andrew Holmes likes. He likes a lot of attention, so such that people want to expose you for whatever reason the case is. So I just want to know one thing: is it worth it? Was it worth it? Luckily, you hopefully don't go to prison, because people in prison want Andrew Holmes allegedly for a lot of the snitching that he did. Andrew Holmes is not a gangster. He thought what he was doing was the right thing. Too bad he didn't cover his own ass. And now he's possibly made a lot more enemies than is, because in jail, well, they don't like people who take advantage of women. Oh, Andrew. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Drew Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Appreciate you for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.